What is going on, guys? Spilly in here today, bringing you something actually completely new. Something I've never done on this channel before. I know I haven't made videos in a long time, but yeah, I'm gonna bring you a controller review. For those that don't know, before I played competitive Counter-Strike, I actually used to play a lot of COD, and even before that, I actually played kind of professional Halo. I played with a lot of the guys that played professionally. For some of you old guys, you'd probably recognize some of the team names, but I'm not going to go too much into that. I would actually almost argue that I was better at COD than I was at Counter-Strike, like skill level wise. I know that we're not talking about like mouse versus controller here, that sort of thing. But I was still pretty young then. I was middle of high school into college a little bit, but I used to play with a lot of the professional guys, things like that. I might eventually start posting some gameplays, things like that. I'm not as into it obviously as I used to be, but yeah, get right into it. I'm gonna bring you guys the review. So today here I have the box over there. I played with it a little bit already. Have the Astro, it's upside down, Astro C40 TR controller. So basically, right off the bat, one thing I noticed, and this is from somebody who owns, just to kind of show you guys, this is a controller I was playing with before. This is an aim controller, similar concept, has the paddles on the back, actually has the mouse style clicks, and the controller that I usually base everything off of, that I consider basically the GOAT controller, is this one right here, the Xbox 360. This is a SCUF hybrid Xbox 360 controller, and I honestly just think the shape of this controller is the best that I've ever used. The Xbox 360 controller to me was nearly perfect. I mean, obviously things can be improved upon, but it's kind of what I base everything off of. That being said, I got this, and first thing I noticed straight out of the box is even just the boxing and the package, this little, the carrying case that it comes with, just feels quality. Like, that's one of the things that I've never really gotten with any of the other big controller brands that I've bought, which I own. Let's see here, I just showed you guys I own those too. I own a Battle Beaver. I own 4 scuffs. And I do have an Elite controller as well for my Xbox. So I've been around the block a little bit as far as controllers go, but yeah, nothing like this so far, except for the Elite. I would say that this is kind of on par with Xbox's Elite controller, packaging wise. We're purely talking packaging right now, and then carrying case. So let's get right into it though. Let's go and open this bad boy. I've used it a little bit. Like I said, I used it for a couple days now, just so I could kind of give you an accurate review. This isn't an unboxing; is more of a review. But yeah, so first things first. Here it is, Astro controller. As you'll notice that I have put on the adjacent, Xbox style, the non-adjacent rather Xbox style. Setup rather than the PlayStation style, because that's what I kind of come from. I kind of come from using, I come from playing Xbox. Like I said, I used to play professional Halo, and before that, mainly played Call of Duty on Xbox back in the day. But the first thing that I noticed when I picked up this controller is, wow, it was quite a bit heavier than the PlayStation one, which to me wasn't bad. It's not like a mouse where I'm looking for that super lightweight. It feels like it's quality. Like, it feels like this is a well-made product. And then, like I said, it comes with some different stuff. I'll show you guys that in a minute. But as soon as I got it in my hands, one thing I kind of said to myself, and I kind of immediately noticed, is, wow, it's kind of big. Like, it's kind of a large controller, which for me might not be great, which is a sad part for me, because I love this style of controller. It's a little big, and I kind of confirmed it with my gameplay. It almost kind of fatigues my hand, as girly as that sounds. Sorry for the females who may end up watching this. I don't know if it's because I kind of have to like reach for the thumbstick a little bit. As far as my gameplay, it seems like I play okay with it, but yeah, I kind of noticed that. and it kind of started fatiguing my hand a little bit. So that might be one of the only real negative things I have to say about this controller is I don't have like baby hands, but I have kind of smaller hands for a guy, I guess, which is crazy considering I played played sports all my life, played baseball and everything in college, but yeah, it is wide, it is large. I mean, just for a comparison here, it's hard to tell, but I mean it's quite a bit larger than the stock PS4 controller, and even quite a bit wider and bigger than the Xbox 360 one was. So definitely a big, wide controller. So if you got man hands, like you're palming basketballs and stuff, this will be fine for you. Even if you're pretty much like average or like right above average, and depending on how you can hold your controller, you'll probably be fine with this. But yeah, that was one of the things that I noticed. Another thing that people may pick out as a negative depends on the game you play. There's only two paddles. There's only two paddles here. I only ever use two paddles because the only thing I ever really play is Call of Duty on console, and I use jump and melee. It's really the only things that I ever use. Somebody who's playing like Fortnite or Apex, something like that, might want those like four paddles like that are on some of the scuffs, some of the Battle Beavers. Pretty much any of the companies do it nowadays. But yeah, so that might be a negative for you too. There's some pretty cool stuff built into this. As you see right here on the bottom, these are actually the trigger stops. See how they stop before fully going down? I can switch that and it makes them go fully down. It's actually it's pretty cool technology built into this controller. Like I said, as far as quality wise, I would put this thing at about on par with the Elite controller as probably one of the best made, if not the best made pro controllers right now. You know, the scuffs have gotten better. A lot of people like to talk bad about scuff. I've actually never had a problem with any of my scuffs. I don't know if it's just because I take really good care of the stuff that I use, and I'm not really hard on it, or what it is exactly, but surprisingly, I've never had a problem with any of my scuffs. But yeah, I mean, this thing is just, it's super quality. That being said, like I said, it did fatigue my hands a little bit playing with it. It is a large controller. There is some pretty cool stuff. There is some software made into it. This is another unique thing that you're probably not going to get many other places other than, you know, like the Elite controller. Some of the other like pro controllers that are coming out. There's that Nikon one, Nikon, I don't know how you say it. And then there's some other ones where you can actually change through software on your computer the stick sensitivity. And some stuff like that, so that's pretty cool to mess with. I don't mess with it too much because I don't want to throw myself off by messing with it, but yeah, pretty dang quality controller here. I would definitely recommend it if your hands can work it. Pretty cool stuff too that it comes with. As you can see here, it'll come with a micro USB to plug it into your PlayStation with, as well as a little wireless dongle that you can plug into your PlayStation with, and it actually, the response time on this controller is about the exact same wired or wireless, which is actually really great. There's very few controllers that can claim that. And then it comes with the kit to change. You see there's some different sticks here. It's actually very easy to change. You just basically you come up here and you kind of have to yank on it a little bit, but you yank it off. I know, it feels like you're going to break this thing, but yank it off. Comes off completely like that, and then you just pop a new one on. That's one thing that I'm not a fan of how you do it, because, geez, it does feel like you're going to break this dang thing. But yeah, it's pretty easy to do. Overall, like I said, this is, I mean, it's hard to find a flaw with it. It's a great controller. I just don't know if it's for me. You know, just simply because of the size. It does fatigue my hands a little bit. I'm not sure how I'm not sure how long I want to use it for. All in all, though, great controller. One thing I will mention, actually, I totally forgot to mention this as a negative. It cannot control the PlayStation wirelessly, as in turn it on or off. Well, rather, it can turn it off, but it can't turn it on, which is a huge, for what I've been reading some of the other reviews, I've been reading that's like a huge negative for people. Like, people are like, okay, this thing can't turn on my PlayStation? I'm not going to play this thing. I don't know. My PlayStation sits right here on my computer desk, so it's not a huge deal to me. But it could be definitely for some people. has, all in all, and obviously it does support, though, using your headset wirelessly. It doesn't need to be plugged in like some of the other controllers might. Um, all in all, yeah, I would say this is a great controller, like top tier. This is the closest thing so far, and maybe ever, we're gonna get to the Elite controller on PlayStation. And this is just the first gen. So if they come out with maybe a second gen of this and maybe add the quad buttons for some people, some other stuff, I could really see this being like the go-to controller as far as like Elite controller style. Just because a lot of people are scared of getting scuffs. A lot of people are scared of using the other brands because they kind of do have a history of breaking. So yeah, like I said, I would definitely fully recommend this controller. It is by far the most quality PlayStation controller I've ever used. Well, yeah, if you guys have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'm going to try and do some other reviews. If you guys want to see maybe reviews of different things like, my aim controller or some of my other scuffs, anything like that, just let me know, and we'll go from there. Have a good one, guys.